Ma'am, you said leadership is not a title, it's an attitude. How can today's youth understand this and adopt this mentality?
Okay. So, as I said, many people think that in order to become a leader, I need to be appointed as a leader. That is such a big misconception. And before you could hit the record button, we were conversing. I was curious about your journey. Today you are the host of Aditya Talks. And tomorrow you will be inspiring millions and millions of people globally. Did somebody appoint you? Did somebody give you an appointment letter saying, Aditya, from today onwards, you are going to be CEO and founder and show host of Aditya Talks, and this is your salary? Did somebody do that to you? Absolutely not. It came from your heart. You actually took a lot of ownership and responsibility to do that. You saw that something was missing, something was not connecting, and you identified yourself to be the person to step in and fill in that gap at your best possible level. That's it. And you took that first step. Was that a perfect first step? Absolutely not. And the same goes with me. When I started something, I was not appointed. I did not have to start my first business, Weekend Nuts. I established it almost 11 years ago when I was still in a full time job. And in fact, when I started it as Weekend Nuts, the name Weekend Nuts come from the fact that, every weekend I asked myself, am I really going to just do my job, pay my bills, live a life, and then die? Or am I meant for greater things? And of course, I chose the latter. So I felt that every weekend is an opportunity for me to do something for others, maybe starting with myself. And that is when I started going and visiting children's home, orphanages, old age homes. I started going out and started engaging and initiating things like community service drives. I used to call it as smiley days. So I started that, and slowly it was just me earlier who was doing that. Then one person joined, then the second person joined, third person joined. I did not get an appointment letter, just the way you did not. Nobody asked me to do it, just the way nobody asked you to do it. And when I started it, I was the only one doing it. But just within a couple of months, we had this massive big group of almost 40, 50 people reaching out to me on Friday saying, Hey, Rupa, what are we going to do on this weekend? And I was like, not decided. I will get back to you within an hour's time. And every weekend, we were doing something for the community. And that is how Weekend Nuts was formed as a group. And later on, a couple of years later, when I left my job, I retained the name Weekend Nuts and I started my first business. And I hope your story, you serve as an inspiration. And I hope my story also serves as a little bit inspiration to those who still believe, who still are waiting to be appointed as a leader to do something for themselves or others. Don't wait. Be your own leader. And as you have seen Aditya do that, as you have seen me do that, all you need is a kind heart and a helping hand, and then go ahead and take that first step. So, this is my take on it, Aditya. What do you feel?
I think I agree with you. And so, ma'am, you have talked like throughout your story and throughout your experiences, you have mentioned self leadership a lot. And you, as you said, first experience of your leadership was self leadership. And a lot of people don't understand that term. Can you clear that can you give us some understanding to this term?
Oh, sure. Thank you for asking. I will not only give an understanding, but I will actually give a framework that anybody can implement in the next 24 hours. Will that be good?
Yes.
Thank you. So, in my opinion, self leadership starts Even before I could give anything about self leadership, I would say it starts with identifying that you and I and every one of us have got the power of choice. If you're listening to this show, pause this, because I hope you're listening it as a recording. So pause it and write down on a piece of paper, I have power of choice. No matter how bad your situation is right now, no matter how broke you are, how sick you are, how hurt you are, how much in pain you are, does not matter. You still have the power of choice. You and only you can decide to turn your life around. I went from almost, finishing my life, from there, from that point onwards, to taking a U turn and creating a beautiful life on a different spectrum. But it started with that power of choice. So, no matter wherever you are, however you're feeling, and no matter what others tell you about you, please remind yourself that you have a power of choice. If you don't want to take away anything from this talk, just take away this small bit, that I have a power of choice. Take your right hand, put it on your heart, and repeat after me, I have the power of choice, no matter what. And this is the very premise of self leadership. Once you identify and believe that you have the power of choice, that is when I will give you now my framework of three L's. Three L's of self leadership. Okay. And once again, we are talking about heart centered leadership. And I have given you two phases. The phase number one, or the stage number one, is self leadership, and the stage number two is leading others. And now I'm breaking down self leadership with the 3L formula. I'm literally giving a small workshop here. So write down the first L. The first L will literally change the way you look at yourself. The first L will make you believe in yourself. The first L will make you not crave for validation from anybody else. You will never, wait in your life to tell for somebody to tell you that, hey, you are good, hey, you're smart, hey, you're genius, hey, you're strong, you're correct. You would not want to do that anymore in your life. And that is the power of first L. The first L stands for love. Love, more specifically self love. No matter, and as I've said, I think I've repeated this earlier, no matter where you are, no matter who you are, no matter where you're born, rich, poor, in a town, in a city, does not matter. Most importantly, please start with self love. Do not wait for somebody else to come and tell you that you are amazing. Look into the mirror and tell that to yourself every single day. I have an entire workshop around this self leadership and heart centered leadership. I go a lot more detailed into that, but start with self love. How to do that, you can reach out to me and I can take it further. But the first L is self love, or love. The second L, once you master this second L, no matter where you have started, how you have started, you will always find yourself, have an easy access to wealth of information. You will always be way ahead of the curve. You will always be way ahead of others who had started with you. That is the power of second L. And that second L is learn. Commit to yourself that you will continue to be a learner for life. And don't just, yeah, you know what, there are a lot of free learning channels that you can go to, but make it a point that you are investing in learning. Because the moment you pay for something, it is a very good saying, Aditya, that even some of my mentors told this to me a couple of years ago, that you pay attention to whatever you pay for. In other words, if you are getting something for free, psychologically you will not value it. So don't only commit your time, don't only invest your time, but also invest your money in the second L, and that is learning. So once again, quickly a recap, we are talking about the 3 L's of self leadership. First is love, and second is learn. And that brings us to the third L. This is the most important part of self leadership. And by implementing this third part, you will become the CEO of your own life. You will be the one who will be in control, and you will be the one who will be, living a life as a true champion. And this third L is lead yourself. And that is the major crux of self leadership. And in other words, what I mean by leading yourself is lead with three main parameters. Integrity. Integrity, a beautiful definition of integrity is doing the right thing when nobody is watching. Do you do the right thing when nobody is watching? Then you are in integrity with yourself. And as a leader, leading yourself, this becomes a very important foundation of your leadership style. So, integrity first. Second is authenticity. Just you be you. You be you, and then become the best version of yourself. And that is what I mean by this second part, that is authenticity. Still, we are talking about lead yourself. The first was integrity, the second is authenticity, and the third one is accountability. Aditya is a great example of this. And what I mean by that is he honors his time. He honors what he wants to fix in the world. And he is not just laid back waiting for some teacher or some leader or some author and speaker to show the way to them and others, but he has taken the accountability and the responsibility to actually do something about what he feels is important. And this is my third part of leading yourself. And these are my three L. Once again, the first L is love, second is learn, and third is lead yourself. I hope, Aditya, I know I may have gone a little ahead of time, but I really wanted to give a lot of value and be as specific as possible to answer your question when it comes to self leadership. And I invite everybody to experience one or more of these frameworks. Over to you, Aditya.
Absolutely. So, with this, you have shared so much wisdom over the 50, last 15 minutes or 10 minutes. I'm still processing those things. But my viewers, stay tuned till the end. And by the way, ma'am, if any of our viewers wants to learn or wants to be mentored by you in heart leadership, how can they contact you or connect with you?
Thank you for asking that question, Aditya. There are two ways in which I assist people. And because a heart centered leader is always about giving, in fact, there is this poem I want to share, even before I could share about myself. And the poem is a short two-line poem by a poet, a Sufi poet called as Hafiz. And the name of this poem is Zero, Zero, Zero. And the poem goes something like this: Zero is where the real fun begins. There is too much counting everywhere else. That's all. That is the poem. And there can be so many interpretations of these poems. But for me, the interpretation that I have taken from this piece, masterpiece, is that zero is where the real fun begins. So if I have got my heart filled with wisdom, filled with love, filled with kindness, I'm going to empty it whenever I speak with somebody. I'm going to give it all I have until I empty my heart. If I have got my mind filled with ideas and knowledge, when I'm interacting with somebody, whether it is my coachee or a student of mine, I would want to give it all as much as possible. And I hope I have been doing the same on this show as well. Because zero is where the real fun begins. So empty your heart, make it to zero, because that is where the real fun begins. If you don't do that, you are busy counting. Should I share this or should I ask them to buy my course? Should I talk about the next thing or should I ask them to buy my book, which is available on Amazon? There's too much of counting and processing happening. And as a true heart leader, we don't do that. When we give open heartedly. That is a premise of heart centered leadership. So, to answer your question, there are two ways in which I assist people and serve people. First is specifically for students and youngsters who are just getting started. I don't want you to invest even a single rupee or a single cent, whichever part of the world you're coming in from, without investing any amount of money. There are tons of free resources that you can find on my website, that is www.rupapatil, rupapatil.com. www.rupapatil.com. You'll find tons of free resources. And in fact, Aditya, as a surprise gift, I would say for your listeners, I will be sharing with you, and I hope you share it with your listeners. I'm giving away for free a seven, or I think now, right now, I have added the eighth part. So, 7 to 8 part video series on how to strengthen your mindset. So that I will give it away for free. So just for the listeners of Aditya Talks. So, and like this, I have plenty of free resources which I give wholeheartedly. Not only on my website, you can go to my Facebook group and join my Facebook group, which is, again, the name is Transformational Heart Leaders. And this is the first place where I give a lot of information, lot of knowledge, lots of training, lots of resources for free. So that is the first way. But the second way is mainly for those of you who are very serious in skilling up, who are very serious about actually, becoming a leader in your next company, or becoming a podcaster, becoming an influencer, somebody who is want to really become a true leader, leading teams, starting your business. So if you're a little more serious, then I invite you to reach out to me again on my website, rupapatil.com, and have a conversation with me. And we will explore whether we are a right fit for each other. And if that goes well, I can either invite you to join my coaching program, my training program, or my mastermind, my very high level masterminds, which are my global masterminds. I can invite you to become a part of that, or I will be committed to become your mentor. But again, that is only if we are a good fit for each other, because integrity, remember, we talked about it. If I'm not a right fit for you, I'll be the first person to tell you, sorry, but I know of somebody else who can be your guide. That is the beauty. So these are the two ways in which I help. The free, for all the free resources, reach out to rupapatil.com. And if you want me to become your trainer, coach, or mentor, reach out to me again on the same website. Thank you, Aditya, for asking that question.
Absolutely. And my viewers, it would be great if you can check ma'am's website out and connect with her, since you can learn. This is just a trailer. You can learn 100% more from ma'am. But anyway, though, ma'am, what would be your one advice to heart-centered leaders around the world?
Lovely. As a parting note, I would, and even before I could give that advice, as you would have seen, I'm a big fan of quotes. So, one of the quotes says that even the richest person on this planet cannot buy time. And we all know that we cannot buy time. But the beauty is we can buy shortcuts. So in other words, for example, if any one of you want to become a talk show host, there are two ways of doing that. One is you go back to your den, your home, and you figure out things all by yourselves. That is one way. Great, no problem in that, except you're going to take a lot of time. The second way is reach out to somebody like Aditya, have a conversation, make him your mentor, and ask him, hey, I would want to become a talk show host over the next 6 months. How do I do that? And Aditya will be happy to guide you through to become your coach or a mentor. And that is my advice. So you can't buy time, but you can buy shortcuts. And when you get a mentor or a guide, so my advice to heart centered leaders is, one is choose, make a choice today to adopt leadership, heart centered leadership as your attitude. And second, invest your time, energy, and money in hiring the right guide or a coach who can help you get there faster. So, literally help you, hold your hand, make sure that you don't fall anywhere, you don't stop, you don't slow down, but take and takes you to your dream destination in the fastest possible way. That only a mentor or a guide can do. So these are my two sets of advice. Make a choice to adopt heart centered leadership as an attitude, as a lifestyle. And second, find a guide or a mentor who can help you get there faster. These are my two sets of advice, Aditya.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. And lastly, ma'am, can you tell us about your Heart Leadership Club initiative? I see you run a club in Bangalore, but can you just give a little more insight on that?
Sure, Aditya. Thank you for asking. So, this is a global club. We have people from multiple countries and continents become a part of it. And what it means is this is a small,
Yeah.
so while Transformational Heart Leaders Group is a massive group, it's a free, open for all Facebook group where you find all the information. However, a part of those serious learners that we talked about, serious corporate leaders, business leaders, or aspiring leaders, they all come together, and this small group becomes a part of Heart Leaders Club. So in other words, this is a club membership that entitles, and it's a very minuscule investment. And again, the investment is because, as you know, you pay attention to what you pay for. So that's why this is an investment based club, but very minuscule investment. And the idea is not only for you to come and learn, but in Heart Leaders Club, there are various, depending on which membership tier you're coming in, we meet every single month live. So we basically, it was just yesterday that I was on one call, and tomorrow I'm going to get on another call. So more than one times in a month, we meet together and we focus only on one person at a time. So for instance, if you want to be an aspiring writer and you don't know where to begin from, that could be one of the challenges that you come into these meetings. We call it masterminds. It's a little different than meetings. They are more focused, result oriented, fast, action based, and heart oriented programs or sessions that happen. We call it as masterminds. So, for Heart Leaders Club members exclusively, I host global masterminds and global hot seat call where you come in with this challenge saying, I want to become an author, but I have got these three issues because of which I have not got started. Now, what happens is on a live call, all of us, the rest of us, we pour our hearts, energies, experience, expertise to give you suggestions, perspectives, directions to help you overcome your biggest challenges in the shortest possible time. And this is again example of you cannot buy time, but you can buy shortcuts. So therefore, when you step out of these meetings, out of these masterminds, within just a couple of hours, you have not only figured out a way to overcome your challenges, but in the next 24 hours you have actually taken a step that takes you closer to the goal. So it's a very powerful environment of growth and success, which is based on heart centered leaders and networking and everything. It's just a beautiful byproduct of a Heart Leaders Club. To know more about Heart Leaders Club, just go and visit rupapatil.com and you'll find all of it. And don't worry, your investment is safe. If you feel that this is not right for you, I will give it back to you. I'll give whatever your investment, plus I'll give you some additional money for your coffee, just as a way to say thank you for showing interest. But do check out because as one of the famous saying goes, that you are an average of 5 people that you spend the most time with. So find those 5 people who are inspiring, who are supporting, who are focused, who are going ahead in their lives, and make them as your best buddies. And that kind of an environment you find in Heart Leaders Club. Aditya, I hope that answers your question. Aditya, you're on mute.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. So, with this in mind, thank you for sharing your views on heart leadership and giving so much insight on leadership as a whole. I hope my viewers you understood a lot. But some questions before we wrap up this interview. Ma'am, a few books you suggest for which everybody should read in 2021 in youth.
Oh, so 2021, anytime 2022 or anytime. One of the books, I don't have it on my table right now, but I would highly recommend Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's an all time favorite book of mine. Not only mine, there are multiple others who love that book. So do check out Think and Grow Rich. Others, if you are interested in sales, there is one book which I'm currently reading, which I totally loved, is this Ultimate Sales Machine, and this is literally a Bible. One of the very powerful sales tactics are given here. But there are so many other books. These are a couple of these are two books which come to my mind. I mean, forget the sales Ultimate Sales Machine for now. If you're just getting started with book, start off with Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and that'll be an easy read as well.
Thank you. So, Think and Grow Rich is also like one of it was one of the first books I read in the self help series, and it is also one of my personal favorites. Well, moving on, you have done so much great work over the period of your life, and you have inspired so many other people. Now, this can't be done without some inspiration of your own. Can you tell us about your role models and inspirations?
Lovely. What a lovely question. And I'm smiling because for me, my biggest role model, my first role model instead, has always been my mother. I'm from Maharashtra. I call her Ai. Ai is Ma, mother. So she has always been an inspiration to me. And like you said, Aditya, it does not matter where you come from and what your circumstances are. She comes to Bombay, and she becomes a very strong, independent, and a wise woman who has inspired not only me but hundreds of people around her. So for me, she will always be my first inspiration, my first teacher, in fact, my only teacher through my childhood that I always looked up to. She is the reason who I am today. So I'm very, very grateful for my mother. I love you. And my second inspiration have been so many business leaders and coaches. One of the very powerful inspiration is T. Harv Eker, and that is another book. Pick any book by T. Harv Eker, and you'll learn so much, not only about your mindset, but also about your wealth and growth in life, success in life. So T. Harv Eker has been my inspiration and a true heart-centered leader who is not just about himself. He has created so many other leaders, and to me he is an extremely rock solid inspiration that I have, and many others like Mac Attram, Robert Raymond Rapil, my coach CK. I've got so many coaches and mentors, and I continue to invest in learning and growing with coaches and mentors as well. So there are plenty. The list goes on, Aditya. I don't want to hold you up for this show.
Yes. So, thank you once again. Now, ma'am, please share two people whom you would like to see and learn from on this show.
And you can absolutely do that, Aditya. Okay, I believe in you. The first person would be Richard Branson. If you can get Richard Branson on the show, that's fabulous. So that's one. And and second is Russell Brunson. Russell Brunson is one of my favorite marketing go-to person based in US. So these are two people whom I would really love to learn from, and of course, T. Havecker.
Yes. And I think I can I those people are already on my list. Some people that only
Woohoo!
you know, or people whom you think are not receiving much credit in their life and are doing great stuff. So something like that, a
Yes,
person you know.
J. Abraham. J. Abraham
Okay.
is one person whom I would really look forward to. So, if I've said that I'm a big fan of Russell Brunson, I would say Russell Brunson must be a big fan of Jay Abraham. That's Jay Abraham, again, a US based. He is the top paid marketing consultant. Um, and it's such an honor that I was able to speak with him directly on one of the mentoring calls. And he is, the moment he talks, if he talks for 5 minutes, you will probably have 50,000 ideas coming out. So Jay Abraham is one person I would really want you to consider right now.
Absolutely. So next up, one. So thank you, ma'am, of course, coming on the show, and I learned a lot from you today. I hope my viewers you also learned a lot. Visit ma'am's website to know more about her, and you can also visit her YouTube channel. Check out Weekend Nuts as well. And thank you, ma'am, for coming and sharing so much wisdom on leadership. I haven't done many interviews like these where I've learned so much from the interview about leadership, and today was one of the greatest interviews I have done. Thank you, ma'am, for coming on the show, and I learned a lot from you. And thank you.
Aditya, thank you so much for calling me. And while you may have learned from me, I hope the viewers have also got a lesson or two. I would like to take a moment to tell you, Aditya, that you have inspired in me that spirit, and you have reminded me that age is just a number. And I can't tell you, as a mother, I can just tell you, look at me. I'm super proud of what you're doing. And viewers, you are blessed. I am blessed. We are blessed to learn from somebody as amazing as Aditya. So let us all give him a lot of love and a lot of applause for the efforts that he's taking. Aditya, it was an honor coming to your show today. Thank you very much. I hope I was able to serve value and wisdom and practical knowledge to your listeners. And once again, do share that link where I invite them to take up access a lot of my freebies, including a 7 to 8 part series on strengthening, empowering mindset. It's a video training, all free, just for the listeners of Aditya Talks. Aditya, once again, thank you very much. It is an honor to be on your show today.
Absolutely, ma'am. So my viewers, I'll put this video series. Maybe in the community post, I'll do a community post. Just check that out. And well, thank you, ma'am. I learned a lot from you. Namaskar. I viewers, once again, check ma'am's website out. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because we are going to do many more interesting interviews next week. And stay tuned till the next week. And thank you, ma'am, once again, and see you next time.